Good morning. How are you?
Morning. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited. This is pretty
Oh,
amazing what you guys have done in such a short period of time.
thank you. We appreciate you being on and all the value that you always bring to all of our agents. And I feel like we're going to get serious because you have a whiteboard behind you.
Yes, I have a prop.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so we have got Peter talking about pricing ahead of the market, and this could not be more important than right now. So seller pricing strategies. Peter, I know you sent me a couple things to share, so when you are ready for me to share those, just let me know, and I'll share my screen so everybody can see them.
Thank you. I
Why
appreciate that.
will you start by just giving everybody a little quick bio and let everybody know about yourself?
Oh, okay. Sure. So Peter Chabris here with Keller Williams in Cincinnati. The Chabris Group is our sales team. Last year we closed 351 units for about 70, I think it was $6 million in volume. The OP for Keller Williams Seven Hills, MAPS Mastery Coach, Keller Williams University, Master Faculty. I'm forgetting something, but those are the major roles I play.
So many roles. Love it. Oh, Press just reminded us of one. Peter actually is the first agent in the Ohio Valley region to gross 2 million GCI. Woo, woo.
I actually didn't do it. It was the team doing it together, but yes, we're super excited about that. And we were on track to do 3 million this year until everything changed. So,
Oh, never say never.
oh, that's true. That's good. All right, should we get into this, Dana?
Yes, let's kick us off. Let's go.
We got a lot to do in a short period of time here.
Yep.
And I was reviewing this chapter of Shift last night, looking at pricing ahead of the market. And the first concept on page 137 that the book talks about is this concept of the window of opportunity. And the window of opportunity has always exist. And that is, and we all know this as real estate agents, that first 2 to 3 weeks that you're on the market, you're going to get the highest proportion of showings on your listing. And that's when you want to sell the property because you have the most demand for the property, which means you have the most leverage when you're negotiating and you can get the closest amount to your purchase price or asking price because everybody is looking at it. The window of opportunity still exists when you go into a shifting market. The difference is that the stakes get higher because there are less buyers in the market. And as a market moves from a buyer's market to seller's market, the number of new entrants to the market, new buyers to the market wanes. It doesn't increase, even if you're going into peak season, which is what we're supposed to be doing right now. And so winning during that window of opportunity becomes more and more important. I started the business before the Great Recession, but I decided to grow up and be a big boy and build a big business right when the Great Recession hit. And so I've actually been grumping for about a year now saying, I wish we would just hit a recession so we can reset all this stuff. So unfortunately, I got what I was asking for. And I want to share today a couple of visual tools that I use that really helped me get my listings priced ahead of the market. So I'm going to leave the book a little bit and just focus on 2 visual tools for the gang. And if you have questions, Dana, interrupt me on behalf of everybody. Or if you see questions in the chat, I'm just going to go.
Okay, perfect.
And it will help in the process illustrate why the window of opportunity is so much more important in a shifting market. So generally speaking, this is how I would lead a CMA conversation with my clients, right? I've presented my value proposition, they buy into it, and now they've gone into now we're going to the pricing strategy. So here's what I'll talk to my clients about. And can you see this okay?
Yeah, we got it.
Okay. So I think this graph is simpler than what you see in the book. And the concept is price and time. That's a clock. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, when we are usually pricing home, here's what we do. We look at a comparable sale that's similar to yours. And we use this as what we believe what we know what price looks like for a comparable property. What we'll do is we'll price you, the subject home, right here. And what will happen is we'll get an offer, we'll do some negotiating, and we'll wind up like right here. And they say, yeah, that makes sense. And you say, that's exactly right. But here's the problem, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. That is predicated on the assumption that the market is appreciating in value. The problem right now, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, is that we've shifted into a seller's market. So rather than the market appreciating in value, what is values doing? And I just zip it and they say they're going down or they're depreciating. And I said, it's exactly right. So if we have our comp and we price here, what happens over time? Can you see this okay, Dana?
Yeah, it's kind of, yes. I think
Make it
everybody.
larger?
I shouldn't be the one to ask because I'm the person who needs glasses and won't go get them. So, oh yeah, they said they can see it great. Okay.
You can see it great. Okay, so here's the comparable sale, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. If we price here with your subject property, over time, what happens?
We're going to sit.
You're going to sit. So what most people will do in this scenario is you say, okay, well, time has passed. We haven't sold. Well, we better go down to the price point of that comparable sale. But what's happened to the value of that comparable sale? Well, over the same period of time, that comparable sales value is now down here. And so what ultimately happens is time passes, you haven't sold it, you bring it down to here, but that comparable sales value is now down here. This, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, is called chasing the market. And when you chase the market, you actually sell it for less money than you would sell it at if you sold it correct, if you priced it correctly on the front end. So how do you price it correctly on the front end? What's the pricing strategy for that? Okay? If here's the comparable sale and we're in a depreciating market, where do we need to price the home to sell? And if you zip it, they're going to realize that they need to price right here. They actually have to underprice the property relative to the most recent sale. Why is that? Because if you're an appreciating market, and this is the comp, the comparable home that just sold in your neighborhood is now the new floor in value. The challenge, Dana, is that when you're in a depreciating market, that comparable sale is now what?
Ceiling.
It's the ceiling. So when we say, okay, this comparable sale is at $200,000, you pricing at 200 is actually pricing behind the market because every single day the market is devaluing. So smart money actually prices just under fair market value. And in fact, if you turn to page, let's see if I can find it here real quick. If you turn to page 145 and shift, the last two sentences of the first paragraph read, in a falling market, which is what we're in, buyers have no faith in current prices and fear paying too much. As a result, they're looking for the lowest price home as an indication of the best value. Said simply, people don't know where the bottom is. So if they don't know where the bottom is, they're just going to look for the best value, which is the lowest price house, and they're going to have the most confidence about taking a risk and spending money in a down market by going with the most aggressively priced or the most aggressively valued house. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. This is great.
Now, let's give them a little perspective, Dana. And this is different than the graph I used to draw on the Great Recession, but I think it's germane. Markets go like this, right? Over time, if you believe in the American economy, over time they appreciate. The problem is they go in waves. They don't go in a steady pattern. So if you look at that at this moment of time that we find ourselves in right now, and this is from Shift also, there's 4 phases, right? There's an appreciating market, there's a peak market, there's a depreciating market, and there's bottomed out market, right?
Yep.
Okay. So we've been up here in La La Land for the last few years. It sure has been fun. But all of a sudden, everything stopped 2 weeks ago, and we are like right here.
Yep.
Right? We're about to go off the edge. And I want to just share one point of data not designed to freak people out, but to empower them when they're talking to sellers about communicating reality. If you look at this chapter, it says the best agents are brutally honest with their clients. Their clients can make informed decisions. Here's what brutally honest means. Here's what it sounds like. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, during the Great Recession, which, by the way, was more difficult on the housing economy than the Great Depression was. During the Great Recession, underemployment, which is a combination of unemployment plus people that can only get part-time jobs or given up looking, underemployment was about 20%. In Ohio, I can't speak for other states, in Ohio right now, we're a little over 9% unemployment. So we're already halfway of the unemployment that we saw during the Great Recession. The difference is this. In a normal recession, job loss, economy contraction, prices kind of goes like this. But we're seeing industries shut down wholesale, right? the travel industry, the entertainment industry, the restaurant industries. And so you're taking entire chunks of people out of the economy. And so what I think is going to happen is we're going to see a much steeper drop in values than we do during a normal recession. So what that means when we talk about the window of opportunity is twofold. Number one is anybody that is thinking about selling their home in 2020 better get on the market right now. There is no kicking the can down the road for 3 months to see what happens with coronavirus. Because if you do that, you're going to be selling it for a price that's going to be most likely, and I don't know because I'm not an economist nor am I a fortune teller, it's going to be at least 10% less than it is right now within the next few months. And Cincinnati appreciates at 3% per year. So Mr. and Mrs. Seller, your options are to sell it now for as much as we can get while we're still in this moment of time where the economy hasn't caught up to reality, or you're punting for at least 3 years before you see this value again. It's your choice. I'm here to educate you. The other reason the window of opportunity is so important is because I believe this is going to happen a lot faster than it did during the Great Recession. And if that's the case, you've got to price ahead of the market, because if you don't pop it in the next 2 weeks, you're going to be doing a really, really brutal series of price reductions to chase the market instead of getting in front of it from at the beginning. Does that make sense, Dana?
Yep, that makes perfect sense. And actually, Peter, can I pause you for 1 second and ask you 2 questions? We're getting 2 questions. Do you think that all areas are in a falling market? And then part 2 of that question, do you believe this applies to all price points?
Yes and no. So the only area I can speak to is Cincinnati, right? Greater Cincinnati is the only thing I really have a pulse on the market with. We have market segments right now. We sold 2 homes in multiple offers yesterday, 2 days ago, excuse me. And we have homes in some market segments that haven't gotten a showing since they went on a market. Generally what we're seeing is if you think about the luxury buyer, the luxury buyer's confidence is driven not necessarily by their job, but by their net worth. And a lot of these guys, their net worth is tied up in the stock market. And the stock market has experienced major loss and major volatility. So those people are like deer in the headlights right now. So my conversation with my sellers, my A sellers that are under $300,000 in value, because that's kind of where the line is in Cincinnati between high demand and no demand. We're pushing them as hard as we can to accelerate the time that they were going to get on the market because they have this window of opportunity, right? For those of us that are luxury sellers, it's a tough conversation. You can price a lot lower now, or you can get punched in the gut later.
Yep.
And obviously, luxury home buyers have an amazing opportunity. You know, the thing is, Dana, here's the conversation. None of this has to do with price. Whether you sell high, you're going to buy high. If you sell low, you're going to buy low. The actual variable here is interest rates. And smart money is recognizing that these are the lowest interest rates this country has ever seen and probably ever will. The amount of money the government is throwing at our industry to avoid what happened last time during the Great Recession is unprecedented. Smart money recognizes that if they sell low, they're going to buy low and make their money when they sell. And more importantly, they're going to finance it with the cheapest money ever. The smartest people at the cocktail parties 4 years from now are the people that buy right now.
So we actually just got a question. If pricing is dropping, how do we handle people that want to sell and then buy?
Yeah, perfect. They need to sell right now while we're still up here. Some time passes, right? You could even do like a 90-day closing or a 60-day closing. Let some of the mess hit the fan and then buy lower. It's a phenomenal time to be doing this. Yeah.
Peter, what suggestion would you give to people who may not be able to actually get in front of sellers right now? Like they're mandated to their homes, but they may have people who this is a great time to sell.
Well, that's what technology's for. Go get yourself a Zoom account, pay $15, get over it, right? This is the difference in somebody's life and in your finances. Spend the money.
Yeah.
Okay, Dana, we have like 1 minute left formally. I want to go over 2 more things. Can I keep going?
Yeah, you can keep going. We're going to go just a couple minutes after because I want to be able to share your images that you sent if you choose to.
So let's do that, guys. In a shifting market, absorption rates are your friend. We're no longer that interested in sold homes. We're interested in absorption rates and active and pending sales. So Dana, will you pull up the first of the 2 that shows absorption rates? What I did is I picked a neighborhood in Mason, Ohio between $400,000 and $450,000. It's the one, Dana.
I'm trying to find it. Hold on 1 second.
It's not that one. It's the other one.
Oh, here we go. Okay, perfect. I'm going to just put them both up and then.
Sure. So on the right-hand one, you can see that that's the absorption rate. And what the absorption rate is saying right here for Mason, $400,000 to $450,000 is in the past 6 months, 40 homes sold. That's that sold category on the right-hand side. That's 6.5 homes per month. Well, if you look at the active inventory in Mason on the left-hand side, it says 13 homes. And by the way, this data is from yesterday. This is real data. So at 6.5 homes selling per month in this market segment, Mason Homes, 4 to 450, with 13 on the market, there's only 2 months worth of inventory, which indicates an amazing seller's market because that's what everybody has experienced over the last 3 months. So if we look at the past, it looks like a rip-roaring seller's market. We can't look at the past anymore. Let's go to the other page, Dana.
Okay.
This is a different view of the exact same market segment, $400,000 to $450,000 in Mason. It may be too difficult to see, but the top section shows active inventory, and you can see that there's 13 homes available for sale. You'll see, thank you very much, that's perfect, Dana. So 13 homes available for sale. Underneath that is homes under contract pending. There's 13 available under contract as well. So at first blush, we would assume pending volume is going to absorb current volume within a reasonable period of time. But if you look closer in the numbers, the very last sale in this market segment was February 22nd. And that's the day that Ohio announced that they were doing this stay-at-home program. You can scroll up a little bit, Dana.
Oh, there we go. Yep.
The point here, guys, is that the numbers tell the story for you. There have been no sales since stay-at-home was put into place. So all of a sudden, while the data in the past looks like it's a rip-roaring seller's market, if you look at the numbers and the actives and the pendings, they're actually going to show you, oh my gosh, we just hit a crazy buyer's market and just nobody can see it yet. This is the kind of data you share with your sellers to demonstrate urgency. The urgency of right now. The window of opportunity becomes more extreme and pronounced when you have this kind of data and you can illustrate it with them in numbers. Okay, helpful?
This is awesome, Peter.
All right.
Awesome.
2 more quick things.
Yep. And then
Okay.
let me get questions too. Yes, keep going.
Okay, some language. This is language that I went to constant with my clients during the Great Recession. It is a race against time. It's also, frankly, a race to the bottom because whoever sells next, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, becomes the new ceiling on value. So if you're not the next property that sells, you're going to be selling for less than that one. The next one that I loved is in the Shift book, and it basically says, every day you don't get an offer on your home, you're actually the highest bidder. So all you're doing is you're buying your home over and over again every day because nobody else is buying into your value proposition. And then my personal favorite, especially when I was working with drivers, is, hey, do you understand right now at this price point, you're selling your competition's homes? And that usually drove them crazy. And then let me leave you with one more thing, and then if there's time, we'll do questions. Is that cool?
Yeah,
All right.
perfect.
During this time, I had the absolute fortune, thanks to Linda McKissick and Sarah Close, for getting me, connecting with me with Tony DeSella, who I think we can all recognize is the single greatest real estate business coach of all time. He and Diana Cook started MAPS, and he has had a profound impact on my life and so many people around me. And during the shift, he shared with me once his 10-point marketing plan to get a home sold during a shift. Can I share that with you now?
Yes, because we actually had, someone said, how do they apply this to their active listings that have been sitting for a few weeks? So that will help.
Okay, are you ready? Does everybody get ready to do your screen grab? Okay.
Yep.
Here it is, the 10-point marketing plan. This is it, guys. If the property isn't priced right, you're dead in the water. You have to price ahead of the market. It's about price, 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 and it has to look good too. That's it. What questions can I answer?
That is amazing. Peter, you are so awesome. You crushed it. Okay, let me look through here just really quickly. You're getting a ton of love and praise. This is so awesome. This is so good. Yes, you guys will get a video of Peter's presentation, so you can go back and get it. Oh, someone said it looked like there were a bunch of March dates on the pending list. Any thoughts?
Yeah, if you look at that list, all the home sales are in March until March 22nd, and then there are no more sales. And that's the day, excuse me, not March 22nd. What was the Sunday was the 17th, 20th? I can't remember. It's a blur right now.
Yeah, it is a blur.
I think I may have highlighted the February one, but if you look back at that list, There are no more sales after that date was announced.
Oh, yeah, you circled February. It should be.
Yeah, sorry, it should have been March.
That's okay. March the 20th. So he's right. Yeah, no more pendings after March.
After March the 20th. Yeah, I sorry. So we're all doing a million things right now. I meant to circle the March the 20th, and I hit the February, and I apologize.
Totally fine. That's totally fine. Okay, let me just run through and see. Yeah, man, people are. Yeah, somebody said, wow, I want to go do a listing consultation right now. Yes, this is awesome. Oh, hey, Chip James. Awesome. Okay, perfect. Peter, you crushed it. Let me just make, someone just said, just text my future seller about getting on the market now. Thank you so much.
Yes. Excellent. Love
Perfect.
it.
Peter, you are awesome.
All right, guys, you have a great day ahead of you. You got some major talent up after me. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. People, get those price reductions right now. The right thing to do as a fiduciary. Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.